not afraid of a little light.
Hey, is that a way to end the track meet or what?
Referring to the rain?
Is that a way to end the freaking track meet or what?
Would you rather end it that way, or would you rather have had it put away before?
I would have rather had it be put away before we even got here. One of the girls, actually Coach Powell said, we're getting good at this winning by 1 point, harkening all the way back to cross country. Great job by those girls, man. You guys know just as well as I do about the mishaps there. You know, it should have never ever came down to that, but that 200 there with Deja. But what a champion's heart to see her soldier back in a very short period of time of rest and come out there and run the hell of a leg that she ran there on the second leg in that 4x4. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but that was a collegiate record 4x4 there. So just Lions effort by those girls today. And then the only bad, disappointing part of it is just the long delay there with the protest. I don't know, the rule there is that you can't protest after 15 minutes, but they're protesting the 200 and how Deja could come back and run. But Deja was DQ'd. So she was DQ'd in the 400, not DNF. And the rule states that if you're a DNF, you have to go and get medical clearance before you run another race. That wasn't the point because she was not DNF, she was a DQ. And then for Georgia to go and protest that we impeded USC is another one. That was the second protest there, both by Georgia. So
both protests were by Georgia?
Both protests were by Georgia. Not USC, who was in the race that did this, but Georgia, who was not. But my thing that, once again, that's a little spoiling for such a great moment is hard to file a protest when there's no yellow flag. You can file a protest when there's a yellow flag, but there was no yellow flag in that 4x4. So got to do a little better job for us in knowing those little nuances so we don't rob those girls and those student athletes of such a great moment. But outside of that, I wouldn't trade it in for anything in the world.
You talked about the heart of the lion. What about Raven Rogers in that last 200?
Oh my gosh. The plan for her was we've been running against USC all year, so it's nothing new. They kind of stole one from us indoors with a collegiate record there indoors in the 4x4. So for us to come back and do it there, you know, they have a great team. Their coach does a good job in getting those girls ready. So you can't say any more about them and what they do, but there was definitely a familiarity already with that lineup and what they do. So just good racing, good running there, and then you got Kendall Ellis there running. She's the 400-meter finalist, and then versus the 800-meter finalist. And then I bet my money on Raven Rogers, and she did a hell of a job. Of course, she was supposed to run the last 100, but she ended up going at 200 to go, which it all worked out.
Raven said that it was a flip-flop from the Penn relays when Deja ran 4 and she ran 2. What was the reason behind putting Raven on the last leg? I mean, what was the gut instinct for you to make that change?
We just wanted to do something different. Just break up the monotony, give the girls a new challenge. Sometimes it gets boring running the same order and just running the same teams, and just to spice it up and cause a little more drama and a little more emotion. Sometimes we have desirable difficulties that we create for our own team to challenge them when there's no challenges out there. Not to say that Penn Relay wasn't that, but we ended up winning like 4 or 5 seconds. So we just switched up. Alexis ran first, Mackenzie ran a different leg, and Raven ran a different leg, and then Deja ran anchor. But if you watch the majority of our races, Raven is our anchor, and you can see why.
Going into that 4x400, what was your message to the team knowing what was on the line?
Yeah, we huddled up there in the medical tent. We all sat down in those chairs and simply said that Georgia is going to have 62.5, but it ended up being 62.2 points there, and we're at 54. So we can't be second, or we're going to lose by 0.2 points, and we have to win. And I hate to put this on you, but I also want to put it on you because I wouldn't want it to come down to any other 4 group of girls on our team, and for them to rise up and do what they did. I simply told them that we're built for this. We've been built for this all year long when we go out there and run those heels Saturday morning when it's cold and it's raining, and we're built for this moment and we're ready.
What have your emotions been like the last 3 hours?
Ooh-wee. I was actually pretty calm for the most part because things were pretty much trending to form. We were +2 there in the 100 based on my form chart. We were +2 there on my form chart as far as the hurdles. A little disappointed there that we didn't pick up a point there in the triple jump. Kind of right on par for the course for the 1500. And then the big shock and the big surprise where everything got tense, it didn't start till after the 200 because that's where things kind of really knew that it was going to be tough.
How long did it take you to find out that Deja was okay and would be able to run the 4x4?
Well, I don't know if you know me or not, but I broke all protocols and went there and escorted her off the track and didn't have her come through the mix zone and took her straight to the medical tent. And while we were talking there, of course, before we even talk about running the 4x4, it was just basically to see where she's at and how she's doing and her health. Once she gave me the green light on that, other than a bunch of scrapes and bruises, we sprayed some antiseptic on it and put a patch here or there, and then she's like, I want to do it. And we're out.
What does it mean for you to?
Why she tripped or fell or what happened?
No, I have no idea. That we didn't have a chance to talk to because of the short time when, you know, you run the 200 and you got to turn right back around, and after the steeple, you're right back for the 4x4. So I actually have not said not one word about the 200, what happened or what. But I know she's disappointed that it happened.
One point that the form charts maybe yours did, but others didn't, was Brooke Feldmeyer in the 800. Those are 6 points that maybe turned out to be pretty crucial.
Those are definitely points, definitely above. So when you hear me say those pluses, they are exceeding what I put down on paper. And for her to not only run a huge PR there from 203 to 201 is fantastic, and it definitely is some points that is well needed when you get to the end of the meet in hindsight.
Did you receive an explanation why Deja was listed as a DQ versus DNF?
Yeah, because Ari went back and helped her across the finish line. It's one of those funny, tricky NCAA rules to where you can't be helped. And so she was helped across the, or she helped her up. And then once you touch her, kind of all bets are off. But kind of one of those things to where we got to use a little bit of common sense here a little bit. You know, what are you supposed to do when you see your teammate laying on the ground?
Did you talk to Petros, or did he say anything to you?
Yeah, he came by and said that he was protesting something, and then USC was protesting something, but then it turned out that it wasn't USC protesting at all, it was all him.
What do you think of those protests?
That's part of the game. Everybody protests, and that's why you pay your $50 and go and do it. There's no harm, no foul. I just probably wish that the way it was done, you can't protest after 15 minutes. Once that event is over, nothing can be done. And so to protest that after the 15-minute window is probably where the issue and the problem is. He's well within his right to go and protest, and he should have.
What does it mean for this program to win the triple crown?
That's one of those things to where we've done really well around here, and I don't know how much higher we can continue to go. We had a low point in our men's program yesterday, and I'm assuming at some point in time the balloon's got to come back down to earth somewhere, and we're not always going to be in contentions as much as we're going to try not to let that happen, but we're going to suffer the same fate no matter what. It's just the law of averages. But to be able to say all of the programs in the country, and we're one of the only people to be able to do that. And then, of course, Terry Crawford did it, and I kind of equate it to the Tiger Slam. She did it in 2 calendar years, where we did it in 1 calendar year. You know, Terry Crawford is a legend in our sport. There's 1,000 different awards named after her. And then for have Oregon up there at the top of that list, you know, I'm probably in a loss for words. And one of those things where it's a little too close to it now, but after we're done in a way, really start to cherish how much special that is.
Thanks, Robert.
Thanks, Robert.
When Raven got past the inside, what were you thinking then?
What in the hell are you doing?
Have you ever seen that happen?
No, I was like, she knows better.
Oh, I know, with the fall. Have you ever had a runner fall like that in a 200?
No, but I've seen it happen a few times. You know, when you're giving your all and the finish line is so close, and you just kind of run out of gas there. And it's probably one of those things where the lactic acid is kicking in, you catch a spike, and you fall.
And with you guys winning by such a small amount, and you won cross country by 1 point, you think sometimes the media, we sort of take you guys for granted?
You like how your team fought? I mean, obviously you want to win by 20 points, but
I would love to
the
win
testament, it's falling apart there, right?
You're 100% right.
Record, then you turn it around. This is going to be the worst. I don't know if we call it a choke job, but and then you've set a collegiate record to win the whole thing. Like, does that sort of show what your team's made of?
Rags to riches.
Right.
One of the things that we caution our kids about all year long when they started talking about this Triple Crown stuff, especially after indoors, that thing started to grow and bigger, is you can't get caught up into that, because one of two things will happen. You're either going to be this monstrous success story, or you're going to be the biggest failure story that's out there. And then all these projections that they're going to score 100 points, they're going to score 90 points, and then they're going to score 8 points. And then you guys put out there they're going to score 80 some odd points. That number kept shrinking and shrinking. And with kids these days, they often get caught up into the whole social media stuff, and that's how they do things. But we have to kind of keep our head down and do the things that we do each and every day. So you're 100% right. We were leaking oil. I don't know about falling apart or choke job was the words that I would use, but we're definitely leaking oil here after that 200. But it's a true testament to those girls, and just like I said, we're built for this. Those 4 girls have been battling all year long, and for them to do that is awesome.
If you had to describe Raven in one word, what would you say?
Fantastic. Simple. Fantastic.
Can you expand on that just a little bit?
No, look at it.
I know one word, but then explain why you chose that word.
No, Raven is an age group phenom. Like, if you go back in her history, from a little girl, she was doing what she does now, and then for her to pick and choose and come to the University of Oregon all the way from Houston is special. And then we've been fortunate to have talented kids like her in our program before, so we've learned some ins and outs and how to manage those careers, Laura Raisler being one of them. And she's still growing. She's just scratching the surface on what she's going to be.
Is there anything past this? Is there anything left for her to accomplish at this level, the NCAA level?
Absolutely. She doesn't have the indoor collegiate record.
Thank you. Congratulations.